Hey guys, Philosopher here, and today I have what could be my most important video ever. Here I'm going to unveil the last member of the Infinity Watch team, Phi Lavelle, talk to you about her kit, and then I'm going to walk through each of the three new characters, Adam Warlock, Moondragon, Phi Lavelle, go through their stats, and tell you exactly where each individual stat lines up in terms of the characters that are currently in the game, stuff like health, damage, speed, etc. Then what we're going to do, I'm going to show you footage of them versus a top sort of arena meta, hybrid team. Show you defeating them. Obviously, it's footage from the devs, but I will so we'll take that with a grain of salt. But I will say this: looking at the kits, it really looks like they're going to rule arena offense and arena defense. I'm going to explain to you why. I'm going to actually walk through the turn order. I'm going to walk through what they do on turn one and show you how it works. And then once I do that, I'm going to show you some footage of them versus Heroes for Hire and show you specifically why in the kit this team's going to counter Heroes for Hire. Obviously, we don't know exactly how the team performs. They're not in the game yet. But on paper, this looks like a team that will transform Arena and counter for Heroes for Hire. And I will say this: the devs intended to do both of those things. So if you're looking to go all in on a team, this looks like the team to do it. I'm going to go right into that now. So first of all, let's get right into Phi Lavelle's kit. Phi Lavelle is going to be a Protector Cosmic Bio. We haven't had a Bio character in a while, so that's a good thing. In terms of ISO, there aren't that many good protectors, so this is all, I think, a good thing. I will say that DD4 Cosmic is going to get very crowded now. There's so many good choices. Bottom line, basic is going to be very strong, attacking the primary target for 300% damage and applying offense down for 2 turns. Then chaining to another target within 2 spaces for 300% damage and apply offense down. So very strong basic. Really, to me, rivals some of the better basics in the game. Then we've got, and by the way, this can't be counterattacked if Moondragon is an ally. All right, now we're going to go to our special Quantum Cutter, available turn 1. Turn 1 special. Clear all negative effects from self and all Infinity Watch allies on turn 1. So any team that tries to get speed bar early, take a bunch of turns and apply debuffs, it's totally wasted. And then it does clear 2 random negative effects from other allies. That's how she will perform on a mixed team, that sort of thing, hybrid team. Then bury yourself and all allies for 20% on the full team of the character's max health. Absolutely huge because she has very high health. I will show you that shortly. In addition, there's going to be another thing that she does that really provides a lot of protection to this team. Definitely not a typical protector, giving taunt and all that, but really, really powerful. And oh yeah, by the way, she's attacking too. 350% damage and 25% piercing. Lots of damage going out from this team. Her ult, Marvelous Finish. This is turn 2. And this attacks one target, the primary target, for 600% damage plus 25% piercing and applies offense down. And she applies defense up for 2 turns and offense up for 2 turns to all Infinity Watch allies. And if the primary target has any positive effects, apply 2 death proof to all Infinity Watch allies. I will show you shortly why this death proof is such an important buff for this team. The team's really going to revive a lot around death proof. I'll show that shortly. All right, so we'll see that here in a passive. Avatar of Oblivion. On spawn, apply defense up to for 2 turns to self and all Infinity Watch allies. Very powerful. This is something that we, for example, run Shuri to get on our team, and here they just get it on spawn with Phi Lavelle. Oh yeah, and this is huge. When this character or any of the Infinity Watch allies drops below 50% max health, apply 2 death proof to that character. And it gets better. While this character has Death Proof, gain 50% drain. While any Infinity Watch ally has Death Proof, that ally gains 50% drain. This is the most OP broken thing in this team. This team, and I'll just give you a preview here, the stats are through the roof, absurd, like some of the recent characters we've seen, Surfer, Doom, Kestrel, etc. And so every damage that they put out, every point of damage, they're getting half of it back as healing. So you know how the symbiotes don't ever seem to die in raids and Dark Dimension because they're getting 100% drain? Well, this team gets 50% drain everywhere in arena, in war, everywhere they're getting 50% drain, and they have ridiculously high damage output. So she's throwing out death proofs all the time. If a character gets under 50%, she gives them 2 death proofs, and whenever any character on the team has death proof, they have 50% drain. Totally OP ridiculous. All right. The entire team gets 30% damage. That's going to be important too. One thing I will just say from the way they designed this team, they clearly want you to use the full team together. And, what I expect to happen here is the team's going to be super awesome together. This is basically Black Order 2.0. And then once they, have a counter in for this team, which I think is going to be fairly easy for them to counter, they could have teams that clear death proofs, very, very easily. Teams that do other things that mess up with this team's game plan. Once you break up the team, just like Black Order, they're not nearly as strong. And I think they've done that purposely. Don't get me wrong. Some of these characters are good solo. Phyla-Vell is one of them, but they're way, way better together. And they're meant to be used as a full team. Of course, right? They want you to have Adam Warlock as a legendary that requires a legendary and requires all this ISO and everything else to get. And then they're going to have 2 new characters, which I'm sure will be expensive. All right, look at this. By the way, here's another thing. I'm sure when they were doing testing, they probably found that the Dad Bros with Blue ISO were doing very well against this team, or better than they wanted them to. So, boom. Lower enemy crit chance by 15% unless the character has ability block. And by the way, let's look at her stats. Health, you might think, okay, well, this is her weakness, 25th. By the way, that's not much of a weakness. There's, almost 170 characters in the game. And 25th is still very high. But, oh, yeah, when you factor the fact that Adam Warlock gives 30% health to everybody on the team, she's 4th. She has more health than Hulk. Insane, right? Damage. 1st in the game, and not by a smidge, by a lot. 12.5% above Dr. Doom. Easily the best damager in the game. Characters like Black Bolt, Kestrel, Longshot should not be putting out more damage than her, although I will say, in terms of turns, the number of turns that are being taken, Longshot gets those out of. It gets so many different turns, so many additional turns from the turn meter. Kestrel's doing the out of turn damage with the ping that she does, but still very, very high damage stat, hardest hitter in the game. This is the character, by the way, I think you want to get the highest red stars on. Adam Warlock may be 2nd, I don't know, but boy, having a 7 red star Phyla-Vell is going to be something. All right. Armor, 3rd between Dark Phoenix and Luke Cage. Oh, yeah, and by the way, Adam Warlock gives her 30% extra armor, so on the full team, she's going to be 1st. 5% above Dr. Doom. Focus, 11th, tied with Dark Phoenix and Cyclops, but she gets 60% for Moondragon, additional focus. That gives her 3rd in the game above Venom. Very, 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 very high everywhere, right? Her resistance 7th, which is between Black Bolt and Scarlet Witch, but with the 60% for Moondragon, she's 2nd above Surfer. And by the way, her speed just okay. Now I will just say something here. This character's stats, other than speed, which is still well above average, are absolutely off the charts insane, right? On the full team, 4th in health, 1st in damage, 1st in armor, 3rd in focus, 2nd in resistance. Now, first of all, Scopely gets stuff wrong. Last time I had to, lay out for you the mistake they made. Maybe these stats are off. I don't know. This is what they've given us. I will say they are basically making it where this team, it's going to be hard, right? The team is so high stat-wise that even if they had, kits that were on par with current characters, they would be better by a long shot, right? Now they also have these ridiculous kits on top of it. That's why I feel so confident that this team is going to be broken. All right, let's go right to Adam Warlock. You've already seen his kit. I'm not going to go over stuff you've already seen. Let's just go right to the stats. Health is 2nd, right between Doom and Black Bolt. That, of course, factors in his passive. The characters factor in their own passives, okay? But I will talk about when he has a stat that will be affected by another character on the team. Damage is only 25th, tied with Crystal and Psylocke. But, oh yeah, when you include the 30% from Phyla-Vell, he's 2nd, just below Dr. Doom. That's why that footage you saw from the devs showed him just absolutely decimating people. Armor, 1st in the game, above Dr. Doom, 2% above Doom. Focus, 11th, tied with Dark Phoenix and Cyclops. But, oh yeah, it won't be 11th because Moondragon gives 60% additional focus. And so on the team, he's going to be above Venom, 3rd. Resistance, 7th, between Black Bolt and Scarlet Witch. But with the additional 60%, he'll be 3rd, above Surfer. His speed, 21st, tied with Scream and Squirrel Girl. So pretty fast, but not, as fast as some of the new characters. Speed is not what's going to do it for this team, although they will have some characters who will move quickly, and I will explain that shortly. All right. Now let's go through Moondragon. I want to go through her stats for you. 7th in health between Thanos and Surfer, but that's without the 30% from Adam Warlock. With that, 2nd, above Call Obsidian. Absurd power creep in this game right now. Absolutely absurd. I really think the devs made Black Order too good for the rest of the characters in the game, and so now when they want things that easily eclipse Black Order, they are just having to ratchet up the power level. Damage, 25th, tied with Crystal and Psylocke, but with the 30%, it's 2nd, just below Doom, same as Adam Warlock. Armor, 33rd, tied with Drax and Killmonger, but with Adam Warlock's 30%, 4th, above Juggernaut. Focus, 3rd, between Hawkeye and Venom, very, very high focus. Resistance, 2nd, between Jessica Jones and Silver Surfer. Super stats across the board, 2nd, 4th, 3rd, 2nd on the team, right? These characters are all going to be basically the highest stat characters in the game when you have the full team together. These 3 new members, new characters that you're going to have to, purchase, I assume, in the short run, and obviously Adam Warlock is going to be very difficult for most people to unlock. All right, now what I want to do is I want to show you this team in action. It is pretty ridiculous. And this is the team versus a arena team that, you can see here, Doom, Kestrel, Black Bolt, Surfer, Emma Frost. I mean, this is very similar to the sort of arena hybrid that you probably are seeing. Maybe not Dr. Doom, I don't know. But one thing you're going to notice right away is look what happens. Surfer gets nowhere because they start very early on with evades. That is from Nebula. I'm going to go through that in a minute. Now Gamora becomes empowered. And look at that. The heal block goes out, all that damage. Nebula is assisting everywhere. That's just part of the power of her kit. And look at that. Kestrel, we think of her damage as absurd, but doesn't really seem to put a dent there in Moondragon. And then Adam Warlock essentially is just erasing Kestrel there. And then now Phyla-Vell, as we know, highest damage stat in the game by far. Look at what she does to Dr. Doom. Absolutely ridiculous, right? And, this team just gets easily erased. And I will say these do appear to be at least 4 of the 5 characters you're going to see a lot in Arena with Doom, Surfer, Kestrel, and Emma. Very, very powerful. Very convincing win, I would say. Very, very convincing win by this team. So, how does this team work? What is it that makes this team so overpowered? I mean, we've touched on a few points here, but I really what I want to do is break this down for you. All right, so let's go right now back to our PowerPoint here and take a look at that. So, first of all, I think we want to take a look at the turn order. Okay, so first of all, what happens first is Nebula goes first because she gets speed up on spawn now. So that makes her very fast. Okay, it makes her effective speed very high. Kind of like how Proxima goes early due to that speed up she gets. Then Gamora, also very fast, 130 speed. Then it's Adam Warlock, Moondragon, and Phyla-Vell. So what happens to that team? What do they do that gets them all this stuff? Well, let's take a look at the buffs that they get. On turn 1, right away. On spawn, they all get safeguard and immunity from Adam Warlock, and they get defense up for 2 turns from Phyla-Vell. Very powerful. I mean, it means they're immune to negative effects, and that, by the way, is going to help them. We're going to talk about this in a minute. I'm going to show you some footage of that. A lot against Heroes for Hire, right? Heroes for Hire, one of the powerful things they do is they very quickly throw out a lot of debuffs. They're going after the highest damage, the highest health, and so forth, the lowest health. And all those ability blocks and heal blocks and everything that they're throwing out are going to all basically bounce off of the Infinity Watch due to that immunity. And the safeguard means their buffs aren't going to get stolen away by the likes of Skill Military or whatever. Won't get flipped by Thanos. And then the defense up for 2 turns is awesome, obviously, as well. Like I said, that's like what Shuri provides, but she actually has to take a turn. Then the full team gets evade from Nebula. That is really important to stop that early burst. That's why I think they're going to be so powerful on arena defense. You saw it basically rendered Silver Surfer useless. Then Nebula gives speed up to Gamora whenever she takes a turn. So Nebula is giving speed up to Gamora. So Gamora is 130 speed naturally, which is one of the highest in the game. But with that speed up given to her by Nebula, she gets even faster, essentially, as effective speed. And then she applies Death Proof to the team if the enemy has any Death Proof, which she clears. So this is, as you know, very, very powerful because the team gets 50% drain when they have Death Proof. Well, think about it. What team has a lot of Death Proof? What team has a lot of Death Proof? Heroes for Hire. Right? They have all this, they spawn with all this stuff, right? They get Death Proof as part of what makes them difficult to defeat. So she clears the Death Proof, gives Death Proof to the team, and suddenly the team has 50% drain. It allows this team to out-sustain Heroes for Hire, which you wouldn't think was possible, right? With that goofy charge mechanic they have. This team doesn't clear charges or do anything like that. They're just so absurdly powerful everywhere. But particularly if they have Death Proof, that the Heroes for Hire team was designed to be countered by this team. All right? Then, by the way, on this all in turn 1, Adam puts Safeguard back on Nebula and Gamora if they do get Death Proof. So the whole team will have Safeguard. And then Phyla-Vell is going to put up 20% barrier and clear all debuffs. All turn 1. All turn 1. And then Moondragon's giving Deflect to the team. She reapplies defense up just in case it got cleared somehow. She heals for 30%. And she could give the team immunity depending on, what you're facing on the other side if you have a protector, who has immunity. Very, very powerful starting point. This is just looking at buffs, not looking at the damage output or anything else. Now let's look at that now. I want to show you the debuffs that the team has, that they're throwing. This is what they're throwing out at the opponent on turn 1. Not looking at the damage, just the debuffs. They get heal block from Nebula, the entire team. When they're on, she's changed everybody. They get heal block for 2 turns from Gamora, just in case There was a resist, I guess. Then somebody gets an ability block for 2 turns from Adam Warlock. Villain protectors get 2 turns of ability block. Protectors get 2 turns of disrupted. A protector could have immunity flipped to disrupted, depending on who's targeted, and if they have immunity. And then all positive effects on the enemy is cleared. Okay, so that if you come in with all these buffs, if you're like a team like Black Order or Marauders that rely a lot on buffs, you're screwed. Oh yeah. And then a target gets 2 turns of slow and 50% turn reduction, right? Turn meter reduction, taking them effectively out of the match. So let's take a look now. I want to show you footage of another battle. This one is in war against Heroes for Hire. And you see already they're getting the death proof, right? What do you see happen? Okay, they're going after the Infinity Watch, and they have immunity. So they can't get any of those debuffs on them. Now the heal block is coming from Nebula. We talked about that. And then what does Gamora do? Gamora is getting empowered. Now you're going to have even more heal block. That they have high resistance because they have the charge, which gives them additional resistance. But look at that. The immunity there saves the 3 new members of the team from Colleen Wing. And then look at the dodge. Saves them from Iron Fist ult. Then you have Kestrel coming. Also, the immunity saves them there. And then look at what happens here. The team now, you see they have death proof. You're going to get the drain. You have barrier. That 50% drain and the barrier is just totally saving the team. And of course, those heal blocks are all cleared, right? We've seen that as well. And now there we go. The team is just absolutely ripping up the Heroes for Hire team. And it's really because, look, they already have the death proof. They're already doing the drain. They, are getting all of those negative effects. We're not landing in the beginning. You still have an evade on Adam Warlock, but all the rest, we're having big attacks evaded, and you can just see what the Heroes for Hire are having done to them here. It's, I think, fairly obvious to you now why this is a counter, and it's just because of how this team works. It's like I said, they're not using the Black Bolt, preventing revives. They're not doing anything fancy. They have no ability to clear the charges. They're just simply outlasting them through brute force. So what's going to happen to the Alliance War meta? The Alliance War meta now is going to be you have to have your Affinity Watches built up to counter Heroes for Hire. So the meta is going to reflect, having, if one side's got 24 Heroes for Hire, the other side better have 24 Infinity Watch, or else you're going to be struggling through them the way that we have been now, struggling through some of these Hero for Hire teams. And then similarly on Arena, I think if the other team has a full of Infinity Watch team, it's going to be very, very difficult to counter the team unless you have a mirror match, a situation where you have Infinity Watch yourself. Is this good for the game? Not so sure. Okay, this absurd power creep, there's definitely the pay-to-win element, which existed with Black Order, but this is how the game will change. So I will just say this: if you want to be at the top of your arena, if you want to succeed in war, it really looks to me like you're going to need to have this Infinity Watch team. For better or for worse, that is how the game is changing. That is how the meta is changing. And this is going to be a team you're going to want to play if you can. Obviously, going to require a very significant investment. All right, guys, whether you like that news or not, if you like this video, smash that like button, subscribe to this channel, go to my Discord, it's linked below, and that will, give you a chance to discuss this. Also, give me your comments, give me your thoughts. Is this good for the game or not? Put that in the comments below, and please check out my Twitch stream. That is also linked below.